Grand Rising, beautiful day, everyone. Welcome to Ask the Shaman. I'm your friendly neighborhood shaman, Antonio Cordianti, Anthony Golden Sunshine. I'm here to talk about magic, mysticism, healing, life. Actually, whatever it is that you want to talk about. The floor is open. Welcome. Grand Rising. Good morning, Angela Heckert and Angela O'Connor. Ofek. Hi, Ofek. Jill Bova. Hi, Shifu. 1 million Buddhas. Oh, I'm trying to check out your picture. It looks like you're doing the thinker with a hard hat on or something. Cool, Mark. Good morning. And Faith. Good morning. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? I feel like I didn't sleep a lot last night. I wasn't up too late, but I just had a lot going on. I tend to travel a lot when I'm sleeping. I have a lot of lucid dreams. Anybody else here lucid dream? I think I began lucid dreaming when I was young, pretty early. It showed up more for me, like weird things would happen, like sleepwalking. And like my sleepwalking, I would have full awareness of like people, but the whole like reality was different. Like, so my mom would always mess with me. Like I'd come walking out of my room or something and she'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing. I'm going to go check the mail." And I remember talking to her and everything. And I walk up to the wall and I'm trying to open the mailbox, but I can't because that's not what's there. It was just like a plain wall. And I'm trying to open it. I'm standing there and I wake up and she kind of wakes me up subtly while I'm standing there. And she's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I'm like, "Huh." And like, she's like, "Do you know you thought you were eating a sandwich and trying to get the mail?" Pretty fun. How's everybody doing today? If nobody caught it last night, there was a pretty nice podcast I did with Don Zeno last night on SOAR, Spiritual Odyssey for Awakening and Renewal. And we went into a few different things, but mostly the subjects were mysticism and magic, which are two wonderful things that I like to experience in my life and are part of my daily practice. And I really enjoy it. Got a busy day today. I have this, and then I have a couple of virtual appointments, single appointments, and then I'm pretty excited. We're going to a new corporate wellness today. We're going to go do a corporate wellness event for a State Farm insurance agency. So we're pretty excited about that. Pretty excited. Faith says, "I can sometimes remember that I had a weird dream, but I usually can't remember the dream itself." I can understand that. I think what happened, how that helped me was, as I started to, soon as I would do certain things. So before I go to sleep, I often will have water on my nightstand and I'll take a drink of the water. And as I take the drink of the water, I'm telling myself I'm going to remember my dreams when I drink the water. And then what I do is after I wake up, I drink some water and I say, I'm going to remember my dreams. So I'm training my subconscious mind to pay attention to things that it normally doesn't. And what I notice is after every day of kind of doing this for a while, I start to really have good memory of my dreams. Now, when I don't do this, I don't have good memory. I have to tell myself or talk to myself to make sure that I have good memory of the dreams. It's all about subconscious programming. And the thing is, the subconscious mind is far easier to program than people think. It's harder to deprogram. It's harder to deprogram a subconscious pattern than it is to program the conscious pattern, because that can be as simple as suggestions to the mind, just things you say to yourself. And that's why I talk to people a lot about their self-healing and how they help themselves heal by paying attention to their self-talk. That's the dead ringer. Okay. Like for most of us, what's happening all the time is there's some sort of talking commentary happening in the background. Now for people who are, still unconscious, they're unaware that there's talking happening. They're unaware, or they don't know that talking isn't really theirs. Like it's thoughts, and thoughts are energy forms, and you don't really generate them in any sort of way. We actually connect to them in the field around us. They exist around us. All of our thoughts exist in the field, and we access those via our vibration. Your subconscious program has a lot to do with your vibration and what kind, the quality of your thoughts. So training the subconscious mind is something that I recommend for everyone. Retraining your mind. Now, it's really what helped change my life in a big way. Coming out of my program, coming out of the things I think about and tell myself that are just wildly disempowering, and you don't really know that, like self-limiting belief systems and things like that. Ofek says, I had a moment during a dream nights ago where this blue face appeared. There was a frequency in my ears and such an intense vibration all over my body I never felt before. I felt there, but woke up. Laugh out loud. Cool. I would say I see faces most of the time when I'm in dreams and things, but you'll actually have you can have like out of body experiences and things in dreams if you train yourself to step out of them. Like one thing that I like to do, how I started to train myself to go better into my dreams, was I would say wide awake. I'm wide awake and fast asleep. I'm wide awake and fast asleep. I'm wide awake and fast asleep. And that could help me in quicker or sooner in a dream to become aware that I'm in a dream. Because that's what lucid dreaming is when you're dreaming and you know you're dreaming. And when that happens, it's pretty fun, because then you can begin to like manipulate the world of your dream. You can do cool things like fly. Now, it's not super common in most dream states that I fly, but it does happen. What I always can do in the dream states is I can like kind of bound or like leap very far. Like I can jump off into the sky and go hundreds of miles and then land somewhere else. But it's not like Superman kind of flying usually. I do Superman fly when I'm in like shamanic spaces, shamanic journeying, things like that. But in the lucid dream space, there seems to be some sort of still kind of limitation. Like there's some sort of physical limitation in my dreamscape where I can't fly, but I can bound. I can go quite far. Thanks, Ofek. Thanks for sharing. Well, the floor is open. Does anybody have any questions, a topic of discussion they would like to reach into today? I love to talk about self-healing and things like that. Lots of notes here. I usually, what I do is when I sit with clients, I usually have a little piece of paper, and as they're speaking to me, I'll take little notes, just little notes, so that way I can kind of run back around to them and look at them. Look at some of the things we're saying, because that's what I was talking about, right? I was talking about your subconscious mind programming. Angela Connor says, so cool about the dream space. I'm skydiving in a lot of my dreams. Cool. Jumping out of a plane, huh? That's what life's like, You got to go for it. You got to jump out that plane. You got to decide that I'm going to go for it. Nothing's going to stop me or hold me back. I recommend that, because here's a fun question for you to look at. If there was no such thing as failure, if there were no such thing as failure, what would you do? If you couldn't fail, what would you do? Cool question. Let's ask ourselves that. Let's go into that subconscious question, into the subconscious mind. So I'll give you a little kind of taste of how I work with working in my subconscious mind, how I begin to open it up. I usually start by opening my sacred space, which I was kind of doing before we got on here. I was using my Misha and my bell and opening up sacred space, but we can do kind of a soft opening together. And what I like to do is I like to bring my hands in front of my heart in prayer position. And I do this 3 times. Okay. I open up my sacred space. I take a breath and take my hands over my head. And I'm opening my energy field. As I exhale, I open up my hands. And then they come back around right here. And I send it up again. And once more. This one I usually do really slow. Opening up the field. And what you're doing is you're using your intention, okay? So people get confused, like, well, I can't feel my energy or see my energy, so does this count kind of thing? Yeah, it's your intention. Even if you can't use your imagination mind yet to be able to create it. Because the thing is, it was funny, Zane and I were talking last night, and what we were talking about is what it takes to be a shaman and really move into your shamanic gift, your healing gift, is to become good at hallucinating. Which I found to be quite amusing, because that's not typically a word I'd use, because, most people would say, like, well, I don't want to hallucinate, but it's understanding kind of more what that means. It's a type of visualization within the mind. I would say disciplined hallucination. That's how I would name that. It's all about disciplined hallucination, disciplined imagination, allowing your imaginative mind to connect with your desire and what's happening. So when you're doing your energy opening, that's what I tell people to do. Imagine that. We usually start with a Wirtakocha. We start with there's a dinner plate size ball of energy that's above our heads, and this projects the Paqo, or the bubble, the luminous bubble. So typically, that's tight. And, we're in our normal beta brainwave rate. Usually the energy field's more tight. We can force it open or ask it to be bigger, but we can do it with our intention. And what we're doing is we're taking those hands, and I say, visualize, reaching up into your energy field and spreading it open. You're opening your field. When I'm doing it, I can feel the energy in my energy field move through my fingers. And then usually what we do when we're working in a group like this, we open up, and sometimes I reach over my head and throw out a blanket, or sometimes I reach out from my heart and I throw out a blanket over everyone that's watching, over everyone that will watch. We're sending this intention. And this is something that's really important, because your intention dictates wherever your energy goes. Okay. Wherever your attention goes, your energy flows. Okay. And your intention. So this is something that's demonstrated really well, that me and Zane talked about this a little bit last night too, is there's a documentary on YouTube called The One Field, the number one and field, the one field. And they go into intention and subtle energy of the body and how it can be influenced from any distance. And, this lines up with, modern ideas of quantum theory, with string theory and quantum entanglement and spooky action at a distance. And, essentially it's the knowing in the quantum space that everything's connected. And, that's hard for us to understand, because it's not how we've been taught from the beginning, from when we were born and growing up, that all of this is one connected living energy. We're very much taught about we're separate. There's separation and everything. There's segregation and separation and judgments and all kinds of things. But your imagination, it's a really, really powerful tool, because it's your ability to access unmanifested light. Because as I said, thoughts are energy, as well as imagination. Imagination is super powerful energy. That's really strong otherworldly energy, because the things you're imagining, don't really exist in this field of energy, but exist in this field of energy. But by imagining them and taking in its frequency and understanding its frequency, that can begin to manifest into what we perceive as a physical realm. Hi. Let's see. Lulu, morning all. Angelica, just popping to say hi. Got to go back to work. We'll definitely watch it later. Cool. Thank you. Angela, I as well have to go back to work, unfortunately, but we'll definitely catch up later. Blessed be everyone. Blessed be, sister. Thank you. Okay. I'm just waiting on a question or something. Has anybody got any questions? If not, I'll just cut this show short and be on my way. I think, though, I'm going to do some breathing first. I didn't really get any in this morning. I always do it when I first wake up. So when I first wake up, that's kind of my first jam. I'm hitting the snooze. If sometimes I wake up before my alarm quite often, but today wasn't that day. The alarm went off. It's very soft piano music, and I put that on snooze. So just in case I fall back asleep on breathing, because that happens. And then I start to feel my breath. Imagine you wake up in the morning and your first intention is, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to breathe life into my body. I'm going to bring gratitude into my body. I start to think about the things I'm grateful for. And I usually try to breathe softer or quieter than this so I don't wake up Mary, but she's usually waking up with me. I'm so grateful to be alive and I'm awake again today. I'm sure today is going to be a magical, wonderful, beautiful day. I'm grateful for my breath. I'm grateful for everything that's going to unfold today and the beautiful magic and beauty of my life. Then what I do is I just be still. What I don't do is allow my mind to start running away with the things I need to do or get done. That's how my mind used to work. As soon as my eyes popped open, as soon as I woke up, it was kind of like a default going right into, well, what needs to get done today kind of thing. I wait. I do that, but I don't do that right away. What I like to do is first wake up, and what I do is I shift myself into that space of gratitude. I use that imagination. I imagine the most beautiful things. I imagine oceans and beautiful desertscapes and landscapes and just the paradise of this earth that we're on. That's kind of the most wonderful things I really like to connect into. And that brings me such deep gratitude. It makes me feel so grateful to be alive and be, in this time and on this planet. Because it's just, we overlook it. Our life can get in the way and it can really stop us from paying attention to what we're grateful for. And if you start your day that way, oxygenating, because it's a couple things. When you first wake up, you're in a theta brainwave rate. Like you're not fully awake, that I'm not fully awake stage. That's a perfect time for you to program that mind, for you to program your mind. What you don't want to do, I don't generally jump right into looking at emails or the phone right away. I try not to do that and spend just 5-10 minutes first. Relaxing. And then usually what I do is I start scrolling, looking at my phone, replying to messages, so on and so forth. And then usually I like to get out of bed and I like to get some sun into my eyes, if possible. But that's usually I like to get outside in the morning and just have a few breaths outside. Especially right now, it's really nice and cold and brisk, but I love it in the summer too, that sweet summer morning dew and that summer morning smell. Oh, gosh, I got the tingles all over. That feels so good. Yeah, let's see what's going on. Lulu says, I've always had a great imagination up until my teens, then lost it. It's back now. That's normal, the reason being because in our teenage years, this is when our ego really becomes into full form, adolescence. For the first 7 years of your life, 0 to 7, you're in a theta brainwave rate. You're like in a constant state of hypnosis, and you're just essentially in download mode. You're downloading the world around you, the rules, how things work, your parents, essentially. We download our parents. That's why you see your parents' behavior in your life. And for me, sometimes that's cringy, but also sometimes it brings back a good memory. something about my parents that I enjoy. You know, everybody's different how they have relationships with their parents and everything. What I always tell everybody is no matter what your relationship was with your parents or is with your parents, do your best to find gratitude for them helping you to be alive, because that really eliminates a lot of stress and animosity in the family for a lot of people, you know, because we hold on to stuff. But if you can take time and you can find gratitude, like, like I'll use myself as an example. My growing up was pretty tough. It was pretty difficult. It wasn't real pretty without a loving household. And I'm an empath. So I really needed a lot of love and held, and that didn't show up for me. But also, I would say that is not a mistake, because I needed that sort of thing to what one would call create damage. That's the damage to me, for me to recover the damage later in this life, which helps me to heal, which helps me to help others heal. It's a development of wisdom. So I had the deepest understanding. I'm aware that God doesn't make any mistakes, and everything that happens has to happen. So when I really started to pay attention to that, that really loosened up my grip on my past and what I thought happened to me. And then I was able to step into the seat of creatorship and then accept and see that everything has happened for me. This is not an easy thing to do, especially if our mind is holding on to things that are disempowering, because the ego mind loves to externalize. I spent a long time blaming my parents for who I was, because I didn't understand that I had a choice. I had a choice that I didn't have to be this way. But most of us don't know that, and we fall into these subconscious mind traps. Very, very interesting. Angela O'Connor says, there has been a lack of harmony between a few close family members. Do you have any suggestions about how I can get positive energy to the situation? Okay, let me feel about that for a second. Okay, so there's disharmony. So one thing to take into consideration is whatever you're perceiving in your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So, especially now we're talking about family. So the first thing I would really pay attention to, if this were me, is where in me is there disharmony? Because I'm labeling this issue as disharmony. Is it disharmony, or is it where it needs to be right now for it to grow? Right? Because we always want to fix things. This is unharmonized, or it's uncomfortable, right? We have to pay attention to that first. What this thing I'm calling disharmonized, this may have something to do. I'm not saying 100% this is always the case, but often it's the internal question. What within me is disharmonized about this situation? Okay. And then when I look at that, I'll start to become aware of, like, okay, first I'm going to become acceptant of this perceived disharmony. And then within me, I'm going to create harmony. My favorite thing to do when it comes into things like that is use that mind's eye and disciplined imagination. Imagine these people, or these disharmonized people. What would it look like if they were in harmony? All right. What would that look like? So you're creating the mental picture of what that looks like. And from that mental picture, you're extracting the emotion. Okay. This is what's so important, because as human beings, we have these two very powerful things that no other animal or no other species, they have it, but not like we do. Okay. And that's imagination and emotion. Putting those two things together is how we generate from the field, how we create from the field of spirituality or energy or quantum. It's where that comes from. So, because your energy. So, using your imagination, your mind's eye, picturing them in their most harmonious state, and then connecting with that frequency and energy. Now you have a blueprint, an energetic blueprint in which to begin to create in your reality. Now, this doesn't mean that they're going to be what you want them to be in any sort of way, but what you can do is add energetic harmony into what's going on, what's happening. Okay. And so sometimes, and what I'm feeling in this case is that you don't really want to intervene and try to save anyone. What you can do is you can leave yourself open. And if you feel both of these people are hurting, or one of them is hurting, you can offer them safe space. Okay. You can say to them, I know that you're having a hard time with so-and-so and this and that. I just want you to know that I'm here to support you and hug you. And, I'm here to listen to you. Because a lot of the times in that disharmony is people that just want to be heard. Okay. And that's something I notice a lot is sometimes the wounds begin to change when someone feels really heard, when you can sit there. And this is something in our tradition, as we call like active listening, or sitwa is the Quechua word, but it's active listening, allowing yourself just to be there and in that space. Besides that, this would be kind of something we would have to talk about, to look at, to see like what are the parameters, what is actually happening, who is it, what's the disharmony, what's causing the harmony, because you're saying lack of harmony, without harmony. The thing is everything's harmonized. There's just different frequencies in which we would consider what's the word I'm looking for? Organized, right? There's organized and disorganized energy, and that's another way to put is harmony. But yeah, so the first thing for anyone when you're in a family situation and it feels disharmonized, understand that harmony, you want to first create that harmony within you, because the thing is your reality and your world grows from within you. Hi, Nardu. With the different chakra points, are one's higher vibrations than others? I was looking at how information comes from each one differently. Yes, yes. So your lower chakras are lower vibrations. Those are lower worlds. So that's your shadow. That's your shadow, your grounding, your security, who you think you are, more into your meat body. So I'll put that, I won't use the chakras so much because I'm not a chakra master. I'm a master of the Naui. The Naui are the eyes of our system that the Inca use, or the Paqos and Shamans use. And so there's 5 of those in our body. There's 12 total, but there's 5 primary that we use. And these are energy centers for perception, is how we understand them at the deepest level. I do align with the chakra systems. I don't talk much about them because, as I said, I'm not a yogi, and I don't feel that I'm in a level of expertise to talk about that in a really deep way, but you're on to the right path, and I do recommend studying them. But yeah, so your lower energy fields, like in our tradition, our lowest energy field's the tailbone. The tailbone opens up and is able to connect into the lower world, or the lower vibrational world. And typically in our tradition, that connects to the waters, the deep waters of the earth. And these are waters of transformation. These are abilities for us to be able to change the program, essentially, going in and washing away, re-cleansing some things and changing some things. And that moves up into our body, into our navel, into our heart. So yes, it's very much an ascending frequency, whereas your third eye in the top of your head is your opening into the upper world, into the Hanakpacha. So yeah, so the idea is to harmonize this vertical column, where most people on their spiritual journey, at the early parts of their spiritual journey, they get really good at opening up the upper chakras and connecting to light. There's many people that are always reaching for light, but I have to be honest, there aren't a lot of people I've met that have mastered grounding. I was one of those people when I began my journey. I was very much connected, because that's where it all started for me, is connecting into the heavens, connecting with angel beings, connecting with Yeshua, connecting with the sun, other upper world high vibrational energies. And these were awesome. And they brought into me so much frequency, guidance, and love that I never wanted to go into a lower frequency. So this is what we call like light workers. Okay. There's people on earth, you'll hear them, they talk about themselves as light workers. These are people that you'll hear them talk about love and light all the time. I love love and light. Okay. I don't think light workers are not good people or anything. I'm not talking down on anyone. I'm just saying there's different types of medicine facilitators, and light workers are fantastic for helping people who are at the beginning of their journey rise into the light. Because I think it's a normal thing for us first to rise into light, because you have to be able to see that light and feel the beauty of everything. But what happens is we're never going into the lower world, into the emotional part of our being, because that's what's stored in those lower energy centers of the body, is your past, is your story, is your unresolved emotional data. So long as we're staying up in the light, we're never seeing the emotional data. And then this usually is where copious amounts of um, spiritual bypassing begins to happen, because we can always ask God to distract us. We can always distract ourselves from what we don't want to feel by going into the upper world. And this is okay. It's just in the long run, there will be suffering because that recycling pattern happens over and over. Essentially, if you're holding on to, like Zane and I were talking last night, all emotions are toxic. That's how I understand them. Like, that's hard to understand. Feelings are fine. Feeling is the feeling of whatever's happening, even if it's love, even if it's pain or anger. Feelings are fine. It's emotions. It's holding on to something where it's repetitive and it becomes ingrained as an imprint in your pattern of life. That's where it becomes an issue. And so when we don't resolve the data in the lower world, in the lower chakras, in the inner being, those cause recycling patterns of distress in your life. So then you'll hear people, that have these, I cut this person off, but now someone else showed up later. Essentially, the same people in different skin will show up to show you the same lesson, because it's all about learning. It's on purpose. It's designed for us to be able to learn. But we have to be willing to go into that lower world without fear. And this usually takes guidance. I wasn't ready to go into my lower world. And that's really what helped me in a big way with Zane, with the Qatari tradition, was allowing me to really go into my wounds. I had no fear of them, so I wasn't resistant into going into them, because I already had acceptance. I moved into acceptance that everything that's happened had to happen for me to get here. So I had no resistance, but I needed to clear up some of the damage, some of the data. I needed to go into these things and unpack some of them. So that required some teaching. I had to be taught how to do that. I had to be taught how to access my lower energy centers to begin to pull up and begin to transmute the heavy energy. You'll never hear me call it bad or negative. Those aren't things I say it sometimes, but it's not really what I mean. There's just forms of energy. I only understand it as heavy or light. And that has to do with the frequency. It's either a very short waving bandwidth or a very tight buzzing bandwidth. Okay. So the weird part is for you to reach into upper energy levels, you have to slow down your brainwave rate. That's the fun part of the lower I can get my brainwave rate, the higher frequency I can reach into. But that goes the same. I have to lower my brainwave rate to be able to access the lower world as well, from a shamanic standpoint anyways. But yeah, so each chakra, each energy center holds certain forms of information. The lowest ones are going to be your most repressed feelings. And then that's going to kind of move up. And then also you can do some reading, especially you're talking about chakras. There's just lots of knowledge connected within those things, where one can kind of start getting ideas about maybe what they're holding on to. Depending on where symptoms. For me, what I kind of use is the gauging of awareness of where's the symptoms in your body. That's usually where it starts. Most of us have blockages more like in solar plexus and, pretty much everywhere from the navel up to the breastbone is where I notice blockage in most people. Now, it can happen anywhere in the body, absolutely anywhere. But for most of us, that's where we're storing most of the emotional data. And that's because your gut brain is what controls most of your neurochemistry. That's why gut health is really important, and gut, heart, brain coherence. Connecting to your heart alone is enough to begin to change your life. Yes, after my practice, while still outside, I listened to Saint Finnegan, Grateful Song. I love that. I always have questions. I just want to give other people a chance. Please ask questions, Nardu. It's okay. I'll get to them as I can. Thank you for your questions. I love them. I found yesterday I was extra sensitive to this world. It felt extra beautiful and truly felt like a new world after that shift. Can you say more about quantum shifting? Yes, I can. Hmm. So quantum shifting sounds like something that's really like sci-fi. And, there used to be a show when I was a kid. It was called Quantum Leap. And that guy, the man, if anybody's ever saw that, you'll know what I mean. But if not, check it out. Maybe there's some videos that exist on YouTube. I'm sure they do. So there was a TV show, a series called Quantum Leap. And this was in the late 80s, I believe, maybe early 90s. So it's kind of ahead of its time. And there was a guy, and the primary actor, the main character, he was able to, I can't remember how they were doing it, but he was shifting through quantum space. So he would end up in other realities. And so, like, they would, when you're filming him walking around, you're looking at him as the actor. But when he'd stop, walk by a window, or look in a mirror, he was some other character. All right. So I thought that was awesome when I was a kid, but that also made a lot of sense to me because from an early age, I kind of had this awareness of the multiverse. Before I ever heard about it or anything like that, I kind of had this awareness that there was more versions of life or a world than this one. I didn't really say anything to anybody because that wasn't something that was talked about yet at that time. But everything's a quantum shift. From yesterday to today, we'll perceive that as time, like time's moved. That's our perception and what we've been told it is. But really what's happened is there's been a vibrational shift and change. Yesterday still exists right now. And how I like to explain quantum shifting, this seems to always create a good picture in my mind. And I feel like it works, is think about a phonograph record, a vinyl record that's on the record player. And wherever you place the needle on the record, that's the experience. That part of the song is where it's happening. So you're the needle, okay? You are the needle, and the quantum space is the record. So wherever the needle lands on the record is what you're going to experience. There's a complete record of possibility, of neighboring possibilities to the one that you're living in now. And you can shift yourself from that possibility to the next by shifting your frequency. Your vibration in the field dictates what kind of reality you're perceiving. Now, you can do a simple exercise kind of with this, understanding essentially time dilation. And so I like to use cold water for this. So, I would say set a timer for 1 minute. And I want you to think about the most beautiful things you can think of, the best days of your life, and feel how long that 1 minute has to take. Set your timer again and stand in a cold shower. There's going to be a vast difference in how time feels because you're in two different frequencies of being. And your frequency can shift. It doesn't mean you like disappear from this reality that everyone else is perceiving, pop into another one necessarily. There's people around you too that you can vibrate with, and they'll come with you on these kinds of quantum shifts. Now, Mary's been with me for a while, and she's observed a few of them, a couple of them very advanced, and were very difficult for her because the bigger the jumps you take, the harder it is for your nervous system to acclimate into that frequency. But this is also why I teach everyone how to jump into your nervous system, tune your nervous system. The breathing tunes the nervous system, and this enables you to two things: gives you more capacity to quantum jump and gives you the ability to recover from the quantum jump, from the quantum space. So there's really a lot to say about quantum shifting. It's really something, especially with shamans. You're a shamanic priest faith, so it's normal for you to have big jumps. And I would say that you're in a space now where you're going to have probably bigger jumps. And I feel like this one was like your first real big jump in this kind of direction. And, it's going to feel uncomfortable because it's somewhere you've never been before. It's stressed out. I remember in our group, it stressed out your nervous system. That's okay. That's just showing you where you need to work. You need to work on that nervous system. Take some time every day and really work into that nervous system. Use your intention to breathe light into every square millimeter of your body, into every nerve. Fill up your brain with light. Fill up your heart with light. Fill up your gut with light. I accept my reality as it is. I accept each moment as if I've chosen it. Now you're telling your mind that everything's okay. Quantum shifting, that's exactly what you want to do. Unless you like the reality in which you're in and you don't want to change, all right, then don't do anything. Don't do anything to make a change. But most of us, we like our reality. We love our life. There's times where you'll stay in a frequency for a certain period of time, but after a little while, you'll start getting signals telling you it's time for you to move, to make change, move along, grow, find something new, expand. And then, if we don't pay attention to those signs, our spiritual guidance, the subtle signs that show up in our reality, then usually symptoms arise. That's usually some sort of symptom that begins to get us to make a new decision. And then that depends on how long we've been on the journey, because the longer you're on the journey, the more you recognize the symptom as the messenger for you to change. If you're not very far along on your journey, you might not recognize the symptom at all. You'll just think it's something that's happening that you need to make go away. Quantum shifting. Quantum shifting is beautiful. It's something I've been very, very aware of most of my life, and started to show up even more as I started to shift. So, like I would say, so for ease of communication, I would say I've healed from severe disease and illness. But it's not that I've healed from it. I no longer observe the reality where that exists. My vibrational frequency was at that time in alignment to observe that reality. As I changed my vibrational frequency in the field, the observation began to change. Now I observe this life, which is very much heavenly to me. I love it. I just absolutely love my life, and I love being alive. This doesn't mean I'm not challenged. But I quickly turn the word challenge into opportunity, because it doesn't help me to stay challenged. It helps me to recognize opportunity and then just see steps or work I need to do to bring that opportunity into fruition, or what can I learn. This doesn't mean like everything is without pain. What I say is pain is necessary and expected. I understand that I'm going to have pain. What I don't have to do is suffer. I know now that suffering is a choice. And for people that have chosen to suffer for a long time, saying that really will piss them off. So I don't recommend going around saying that out loud all the time, even though it is totally true. The ego doesn't want to hear that I've chosen my suffering. Well, I did. And you are too, even if you don't know it. But the cool part is you can work on your vibration, and by changing your vibration, you begin to perceive a different reality. A needle on a record. Wow, this was powerful advice. Thank you. I've been taking on my mother's pain, and I can manifest a different dynamic within myself. Right. So that's why I was picking up right away. I could feel through the information you were giving me is, okay, it's just pointing first at disharmony in you, right? That's always where I look. I know that's backwards to what we've been taught. Whenever there's a problem in life, we're always looking externally for the culprit, for who to blame, who or what to blame. That just doesn't matter, okay? I don't care whose fault it is or how to blame it. I want to first understand, how can I become in control of me? How can I not have to suffer in some sort of way, or how do I bring myself into harmony first? Because it's the only way I can create harmony in the world is first creating harmony within me, because the world in which I'm perceiving is happening inside me. The world you're perceiving is happening inside you. So that's always the first place to look. When something really bothers you or you don't like it, someone's pissing you off, you have a reaction to someone's communication or speech, the first thing you want to do is look in you. Most of the time, if you just look in, you'll see, I don't need to react at all. I don't need to say anything. And what this will do is this will take you out of arguments, situation, because you have nothing to see. You don't have to protect anything. You don't have to convince anyone. You can just be you and be okay with it. Yes, all three of my immediate people need safe space. Good. Be that space for them, okay? That used to be very hard for me as an unhealed empath, but now that I'm much more healed, I can handle this better. Right. It's hard to hold space as an unhealed empath, because you can feel other people's pain. And then what you do is you internalize it, and it vibrates with the parts of us that are unhealed. And this is where early empaths get this idea of, I need to be afraid. I need to protect my energy. I have to find out what's mine and what's not mine. Like I hear people say that kind of stuff all the time. It took me a while to figure out what's mine and what's not mine. I kind of understand what you're saying, but the thing is it's all yours. Whatever it is you're feeling, you can't blame something external. That external experience you're having is showing you a part of you that is alive. So that's the thing. So the empath is a broad term. Most people do not actually understand what it is. Most of the memes and things I see and the way people talk about it, they think that their incessant thinking, their overthinking, and their analytical mind, the analysis of their mind is what empathy is. It isn't. Empathy is feeling, not noticing. That's not what it is. It's not, it doesn't come through the standard five senses. Empathic capability comes through our actual energetic feeling. True empathy, anyways. We connected with the moon in the level 1 class. I love to dive deep into connecting with the wind. Right. That's actually part of what's coming, by the way. Let me write that down so I remember to do something about that. With the wind. I always felt wind connected to me different time periods and deliver messages from ancestors. It can, I've definitely had wind come in from ancestors. Most of my ancestral communications have come through my lower energy fields, mostly because a lot of our ancestral energy is trapped in the lower world, and I can't release it all, but I can read some of it. I can connect to some of it. It takes some time. It'll take more revolutions or cycles, I should say, because your life is a continuous cycle, really. And so in the cycles, the mini cycles of the life, I'll strip away more of the heavy energy and be able to access it. I love the wind. Wayura Taita, very powerful for empowerment of being. I use it. I call in Wayura when I do breath work, typically, because I'm calling in Father Wind. I feel like it possesses a strong amount of wisdom, divine masculine wisdom. I actually felt a quantum shift yesterday, too. I had some very powerful experiences and then a lot of clarity. Like I could see the world through new eyes. That's it. That is the quantum shift. What you just explained, what Faith just explained. Right. So those are shifts. And I know you guys have heard me talking about these for the last 2 years or so. And, and I remember telling you, it won't be long probably before you start experiencing these things I'm explaining. And here they are. So I guess that goes into what, my visions are spot on. I haven't had any of the visions that I've really brought up in a strong way have not come to fruition. So I'm very aware of how we're all changing and growing. But that's great. Quantum shifting is great. Now, this doesn't mean that when you quantum shift into a new reality, that it should be trouble-free. Quite the contrary, you'll find new trouble there. Sorry, that's how it works. That's what we're meant to do, is meant to adapt. So this doesn't mean that it's harder, really. Like it might be, because the idea is to adapt and grow, because that's why you have to get through certain forms of resistance and programming and trauma to be able to rise to meet the next levels of challenge in our life that we couldn't see before. So I never tell anybody that I'm never going to tell you that spiritual ascension is all love and light. It isn't. It's shadow too. And we're all these things. You're all of your emotions. And you can't be a full human until you're open to experience a full range of emotions. You're only half human. You're only half alive. And I remember that because when I was connected mostly only into my upper emotional self, that part of me was missing. And I had a lot of resistance to it because, it feels heavy. It's like something I don't want to do, right? I don't want to go do this heavy work. But you have to. And, that's how we unfold. It started out as a science experiment as he would shift it. Remember correctly, he had to fix the wrong and then he would auto shift. Right. He was doing like repairs. It started out as a science experiment. We're talking about quantum leap. I want to check that out again. Yes, the wind is a thing for me too. Yeah, most of us, especially shamans, Paqos like us, Father Wind is a very powerful energy. Quite enjoyable. Quite often when I'm out, it's happened many times when we're out doing spiritual work in nature, I can call the wind to me. There's been many times that I've made water move, all kinds of things, because we can connect into those things. But that's a common thing for shamans, is to be able to call the wind. So next time you go outside, maybe you go outside today, get your feet grounded in the grass and slow your breath down. Open your hands. And then sing Waira. Waira. Call the wind to you and see if the wind picks up a little bit. You'll notice things happen when you start to really connect. For me, I feel like the wind is the easiest thing for us to connect to, like weather. Weather's a really easy thing for humans to connect to. The challenges of the bath are worth it. Every day I feel more myself, a little closer to loving the life I dream. Yeah, challenges of the path. It's like the bath, ice bath, I hope. Get cold every day, everybody. That's what I would recommend. Really good for the nervous system. Breathe, cold, ground, food, movement. Those things are really awesome. Speaking of movement, if you haven't checked out my nervous system reset video, please do. And subscribe, turn on your notifications. That's a good video, good for use. We're about 53 minutes. I'm getting close to the end of the show. So I'm going to leave it open to anybody that has any comments or concerns. We have some events coming up. So if you could check them out on Eventbrite. Or at our website, thepositivepineapple.org. If you like what we're doing, help support our system. Help support what we're doing. Make a donation. There's some different links in the descriptions and things. Even if it's $1, that would be great. Could you imagine if each one gave $1, how far we could go? Really far. Do your best. Morning finally made it here. Thanks, Tom Thompson. Soar was awesome last night with Zane. If you did not check it, thanks, Tom. We were talking about that at the beginning of the show, and it was it always is very informative. Zane's a great teacher, and I like to spend time with him. And I can tell that it's good for both of us and everyone else when we're in that space and channeling and working together. So I do recommend checking those things out. They're great. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do just a little bit of breath before we leave. I'm going to breathe us out of here. So if you'd like to join me, please do. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do kind of a simple breath, a simple form of breathing. It's just going to be circular. I like to sit with my hands open because with my hands open, I can connect to the energy better. I like to close my eyes, close my eyes, leave my hands open. And then what I'm doing is I'm breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth. And in through my nose and out through my mouth. Yawning is good. See? 2 breaths and I stimulated my vagus nerve. That's how you know you're moving information in the vagus nerve, is the need to yawn or swallow. Let's continue. Circular breathing. Fill up your belly and your chest. Like a wave. Like a wave. Like a wave. Like a wave. Breathe with me. Oxygenate your body. Five more. 3. 2. Last breath. Fill it up big as you can and hold it. Hold. Squeeze into your head. Make your face red. Squeeze into the center. Release all that energy. Feel that flow, that vibrational expansion, shifting the state. My hands are freezing now. Taking in lots of cold, freezing energy into my hands. And I'm going to invite that here. Excuse me. That's high vibrational energy of the upper world. And I can feel it's vibrating up my hands into my elbows. And if you'd like, you can join with me and channel with me that energy. And I'm calling it here. I call in all energies of the upper world, of the heavens. I call in all light of the cosmos, of the universe. And I ask you to come here and be with me and bring to me any knowledge or any wisdom or any healing, any information that you feel I may need or could help me or us or a collective on our journey. Bring your beautiful connection here. I am open and ready to receive. I am open and ready to receive. I am open and ready to receive. And you too affirm in your space if you'd like to receive the energy. I'm open and ready to receive. And now I want you to use your mind's eye and disciplined imagination and see like your hands are taking in light from the upper world, rays of light coming into your palm. And this is really fun. So right now, my left palm, my left hand's taking in a beautiful silver light. And my right palm, my right hand is taking a beautiful golden light. And I'm going to begin to draw those up my arms and through my hands, and they're getting colder. My elbows and wrists, oof, my body's got the chills. And I'm just going to begin to feed these two energies into my body. As I feed these two energies into my body, they're not mixing together yet, but they're just kind of moving around each other. I'm filling up my body, and there's silver and gold swimming. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my mind's eye and disciplined imagination, and I'm going to open the top of my head. And I'm going to invite a third energy here. I'm going to invite Wiracocha. And Wiracocha is the animating essence of the universe and also a harmonizing energy. It can harmonize any other energies. So I'm asking us to harmonize my silver and gold and bringing in the violet down the center of me. And as I'm asking that to begin to happen, I'm using my mind's eye again. I'm sensing that column, the column of light come in through my head and runs down my body, following my spine. And as it's happening, it's creating like radio frequencies, like a vibrational tower of light. And it's vibrating out into my body. And it's beginning to harmonize the energy of my body, the gold and silver. And it's filling into anywhere in my body that had any heavy energy or anything that feels heavy, stuck, or stagnant now is being worked on. These silver and gold spiritual energies, now harmonized with the violet light, are working on me. And I allow my mind to see that however it shows up. Right now, what's happening is I'm aware there are two angel beings here with me, and they're working on my body. They're working on my cells. I can feel them working on me. And you can ask for any spiritual energy. You can ask for Jesus or Buddha or Allah or anything you want that can bring the feeling of divinity to you. That's what you want to call here. For each of us, that's different. Call to you your favorite ancestors, your favorite aunts or uncles, and grandparents and great-grandparents that are no longer in their bodies. And you ask them here, come here, help us to weave together and heal. And this is all beautiful healing energy, and you're just taking it into your body. We're going to take in more, beginning to use our breath. We're going to use a triple breath, 3 sniffs. So the first sniff's the left hand, second sniff the right hand, third sniff the head. So you're breathing in through your hands and head. Three more. Breathe in 3 breaths and hold. I'm going to make tight fists. I'm going to squeeze. I'm going to lock all this energy into my body, squeeze it into my cells. 3, 2, 1, and I release. And I let it all soften and expand. Ooh, very nice. My energy is now expanding out beyond me into my bubble. Oof, my hands are free, so I need to get under my poncho. Shoosh. That was fantastic. I'm going to take a moment now. I'm going to give my thanks to the upper world. Thank you. Thank you to the Hanak Pacha, the beings of the upper world, all the beings of light and energy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to my golden energy, my Kori. Thank you to my silver energy, my Yoki. Thank you. Thank you to Wirakocha, Nike Kuyaiki, Arpichai Sankolai. Arpichai Sankonchai, Munaicha, Sopaiki. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to give thanks to all beings of light and energies, middle world and lower world, all three worlds. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to everyone that has been here this morning and made this connection and showed up here for yourself. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anaiki Kuyaiki. Thank you, I love you. I hope you all have a beautiful, beautiful day. Please share this video if you could. Share about the positive pineapple. I'm doing everything I can to reach out into the world, and that's going quite well. In the last 28 days, my post reach on Facebook has reached 1.4 million. 1,400,000 people I've been able to make energetic contact with in some sort of way. Talk about adding power into the Sikinan. What else can we do? Together, we can reach everyone and everything. So let's do that. Let's do the best we can. There's some classes and things coming up. You want to check those out. March 5th begins level 1 shaman training. Okay. So we'll be doing the level 1 training. I'm going to be doing this one a bit different than the other ones I did. I've evolved a bit and want to make it a little bit different. So that's going to be exciting. That's an 8-week course. We'll be meeting on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. You will have assignments and things to do during the week. It doesn't take like 10 hours a day of practice or anything. At most, maybe an hour. So you want to be able to set aside, enough time to really dive deep into your practice. It's because your practice is repetition, and this is how you get better. If anybody has questions about that, feel free to reach out, or you can ask questions here. But that's available. That's up and available. And again, that begins March 5th. Okay, so you have some time left before you need to sign up. But I try to give everybody plenty of time. And I could put it out here. And give everybody an opportunity to get on with the shamanic training. Also, there's something going on. I forgot about the date of it. But Don Zeno also has a 2-week course, just like an induction. He's told me induction, not introduction, but induction. And I think what that means is in this 2-week course that he's doing, you're going to get really good wisdom downloads that begin to connect you to the Sikinam. So I recommend that. Check that out. Let me see the link. Let's see. Sign up now. No. All right. So I don't know what the date is, but you can check it out. There's a link on my Facebook page. I posted it this morning. Okay. The nervous reset video is amazing. Thank you. I love it. I do that kind of thing every day. That's part of my daily practice, is doing some Qigong. Butt exercise. Who wants to do a distance energy exercise? We could do one right now. Whoever's left here, let's get in there. So what I want you to do is we're going to bring our hands together. Bring your hands together. I want you to rub your hands together. And I want you to take in a deep breath. And I want you to call upon the energy of the lower world, and you're blowing that into your hands. I call upon the energy of the lower world. Taking in a deep breath, calling on the energy of here, the middle world, and blowing it into your hands. And third, calling in the energy of the upper world and blow it into your hands. And then we're going to clap 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. And now using your intentions, bring all of your intention and energy into your hands and slowly begin to peel your hands apart and feel the energy in between your hands. Vibrational aliveness in between your hands. Very good. You're awakening the energy of the hand. Just feel your hands. And then what you're doing is you're taking the hands in and out, wider and closer. You're just allowing yourself to sense what you sense and feel what you feel. Energy in your hands. What you're going to do now is you're just going to hold your hands up in front of you like this, holding up your hands. Close your eyes and feel your hands. And as you feel your hands, I'm going to send to you energy. Saying in your mind right now, you're saying, I'm open and ready to receive. And I give Anthony permission to send me energy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say transmitting, and you're going to say receiving. Okay? And I'm going to transmit the energy. So we're going to take in a deep breath. And as you exhale, I want you to say receiving. I'm receiving. And now that you're receiving, I'm transmitting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wave the energy. I'm going to push it like a wave and draw it back. And push it and draw it back. And what you may notice right now is kind of a waving feeling in your hands. And let that waving, that wavy feeling move into your body. If you want to, you can begin to wave your body back and forth, waving with the energy that I'm sending you, these beautiful waves. And with this energy, I'm now sending intention for you to have the greatest day ever. I'm sending intention for you to see the beauty of your life. I'm sending intention for you to share in gratitude with myself and the others. I'm sharing intention for you to heal your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body. I'm sending waves of light and Sami and bathing you in beautiful potential. Let this be with you and drink it in. We're almost done. Take that waving energy. Feels so good. I can feel it waving back at me. And that's what you want to begin to do now is you want to reciprocate. You want to switch it around. You want to say, I'm transmitting. And I want you now to take all that beautiful energy I've given you and charged you with, and now you're going to send some back and create a loop, a circuit. There you go. There you go. Now I'm starting to catch your flow. I can feel your flow of energy, your waving hands. Wave the energy. I'm catching it good. And then send me your best intentions like I just sent you. Intention. Send me your greatest love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. A Nike Kuyaki. Thank you. Whew, got the chills all over. Thank you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our hands back together in prayer position in front of our chest. And we're just going to take a moment. We're going to give thanks. We're going to give gratitude. Thank you to all the spirits of light and beings that are around us. Thank you to the living energy that we are capable of touching and using. Thank you. Thank you for all of the beautiful people that are here this morning. I am so grateful. Ooh, woo. Hair standing up all over. Thank you. That was crazy. Do you have a link to the 2-week course? I do. All you have to do is visit either the website, positivepineapple.org, or my Facebook page or the Positive Pineapple Facebook page. So there's links all over. There's tons and tons of links everywhere. So I would check those out. It's on Eventbrite as well. Yeah, cool. That was awesome. I could feel everybody's energy. Thank you. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody that's been here this morning. Angela's and Lulu, and thank you, Nardu, for being here. Thank you to Faith. Thank you to everyone that was here this morning, and that was a good time. Who could feel the energy? Who could feel the waving? That's always fun, because not everybody can feel the waving. Some of you will definitely feel the waving, and then it'll make you scratch your head and wonder, how is that happening? It's great. Okay, everybody, I'm going to jump up out of here. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Let's see. 3 classes. The next class that I'm having is Sunday morning. We're going to have Sunday morning meditation at 11 a.m. You don't want to miss that. Those meditation groups are fantastic. Okay. I invite you. You're invited. Come on in. Okay. I'm going to take off, everybody. Have a great and wonderful, beautiful, beautiful day. And I'll see you later. Bye. Sorry, I didn't use my hands because they're freezing. Good day.